All right, let's get right into your exam-focused breakdown of professionalism. Honestly, this is one of the most important chapters you're going to face on your exam, so we're here to give you a clear plan to absolutely nail it. Let's dive in. So, here's our game plan. We've put this together as an exam attack plan to help you spot issues and find the right answer fast. We'll kick off with the big picture, then hit the triggers to look for in questions, the core rules you just have to know, some key exceptions, the traps they love to set, and finally, what happens when a rule gets broken. First up, the big picture. Let's talk about why this chapter is so heavily tested. You know, it's not just another topic. It's really the bedrock of the entire profession.
See, it's not just about a list of do's and don'ts. It's really about maintaining the trust that the public places in us, in paralegals, and in the whole justice system. Every single thing you do either builds up that confidence or chips away at it. And that's what's really at stake in every one of these exam questions.
Now for a really critical skill for the exam, issue spotting. This is how you're going to find the right rule when you're under pressure. When you see certain facts pop up in a scenario, your brain should immediately start screaming, professionalism. Okay, anytime a question involves a promise or handling someone else's property, that's a huge trigger. When you read about a paralegal giving their word or getting documents with strings attached or holding on to funds for a client, you need to be thinking undertakings and trust conditions. It's a classic exam setup. And the second set of triggers, it's all about conduct. Pay close attention to how the paralegal interacts with, well, with everyone. Clients, staff, other licensees, people without representation. This is where things like civility, discrimination, and human rights issues show up. Oh, and if a side business gets mentioned, huge flag for conflicts of interest.
Okay, so now that we know how to spot the issues, let's get into the core rules you absolutely have to know cold. These are the non-negotiables.
Integrity. This is the big one. It's about so much more than just not lying. It's the foundation of everything. It's about being honorable. And here's the key part for the exam. It's not just about what you do, but how it looks. A situation might not be technically dishonest, but if it looks bad, that's the appearance of impropriety, and that's a breach. And civility. This isn't just about being nice. Think about it. Being rude or acting in bad faith can actually stop you from doing your job properly for your client, and it makes the whole profession look bad. Notice that phrase, consistent pattern. We're going to circle back to that in a bit. When you see the word undertaking, I want you to think of it as a sacred promise in the legal world. When you give one, your own professional integrity is personally on the line. It's not the client's promise, it is your promise. So here's a quick 4-step checklist for any undertaking question. 1. It's your personal promise. 2. You have to fulfill it. Period. 3. Get it in writing. And 4, and this is a big one, saying, on behalf of my client, does not get you off the hook. We'll hit that again in the exam traps section. All right, here are the prohibited grounds of discrimination. Now, you need to know these because the exam isn't going to say the paralegal discriminated based on family status. No, it's going to describe a situation, like a paralegal refusing to accommodate a client's childcare needs. It's up to you to spot the ground and identify the breach. The exam just loves to test the gray areas, right? So understanding these little distinctions is how you're going to pull ahead and lock in those marks. Let's get into the key nuances. Spotting the difference between a paralegal acting as a mediator versus a representative is a classic exam scenario. It's so important. As a mediator, you are neutral. You give general legal information, not specific legal advice. You have to be super clear with everyone that you are not their representative, and there is no paralegal-client relationship. Please, please remember this for your exam. It is all about the impact, not the intent. A rule that looks totally fair on the surface, like making everyone work on Saturdays, can still be discriminatory if it negatively impacts a protected group. We call that indirect or adverse effect discrimination. Okay, this is a bit of a higher level concept, but it is so crucial. Formal equality just means treating everyone exactly the same. But substantive equality, which is really the goal of human rights law, means getting to a truly equal outcome. And that often means we have to treat people differently to accommodate their needs. All right, let's talk about the common mistakes and the distractors that are specifically designed to trip you up on the exam. Knowing what these traps look like is half the battle. So here's the first huge exam trap. You're reading a fact pattern and you see the phrase, I undertake on behalf of my client. What does that actually mean for the paralegal? Are they off the hook? The answer is a big no.
Those words alone are basically an escape clause that doesn't work. The default setting is that you are personally bound. If you want to avoid that personal responsibility, the undertaking has to say, in black and white, that you are not personally on the hook for it. This next trap tests the boundaries of the civility rule. So let's say a paralegal is being rude, but maybe not so bad that a judge would hold them in contempt. Where does the Law Society draw the line? And there's that key phrase again, a consistent pattern. One rude email might not cut it, but a pattern of them? Oh yeah, that absolutely can be professional misconduct. The exam will give you a scenario that describes a few different instances of bad behavior. That whole series of little things adds up to a big breach. Okay, finally, what happens when a rule is actually broken? This is often the last part of a multiple choice question, right? It'll ask, what's the likely outcome, or what is the paralegal subject to? And the consequences are serious, and they can come from a few different places. If you break an undertaking, a court can actually step in and force you to do it, or make you pay damages. And for any breach, the Law Society can start disciplinary proceedings. That could lead to a finding of professional misconduct, which is a permanent stain on your record. And that wraps up our attack plan for professionalism. Just remember the triggers, know the core rules inside and out, understand the nuances, and please watch out for those traps. As you keep studying, ask yourself which of these core rules, integrity, civility, or undertakings, you need to review the most. Keep this framework in your head when you're doing practice questions, and you'll be all set for exam day. Good luck.